Let's talk about VSTs, virtual studio technology, and yeah, they've been very instrumental in making music, and creating. We pull them up in our DAWs and stuff like that and everything. And yes, they're definitely a replacement to hardware instruments and everything. So, and that's a great thing. Now, I want y'all to comment below what was your first VST. Whether it was a plug-in effect or it was an instrument, like a keyboard or a synthesizer. But comment down below and let me know what was your first VST instruments. Alright, so my first VST was back in like 2003. Like I went to Sam Ash and I went to buy it was called Sample Tank. Then I bought my first audio controller, and that was the first like introduction to where VST instruments was pretty much coming with like the keyboard. So I bought my first MIDI controller, which was an audio, and it came with Expand 2. Expand 2 was dope and everything, and it had all the general instruments in there, general MIDI stuff, and it had the synthesizers and everything, pianos and everything. So that was cool. So when I was buying more and more like MIDI controls and stuff, like they will come with other stuff like Velvet, and we got Absinthe, Battery, BFD player, of course Native Instruments, Driver, Flare, FM8, Guitar Rig, Hybrid, Contact, of course, Loom 2, the M1 Machine, Massive, MPC Beats, Polysynth, of course, Reactor, Replica, Strobe 2, Transient, oh yeah, that Triton Extreme, Wave Station, Expand. What we got in the VST3s? Of course, we got that hybrid and all that. We got Arteria, Analog Lab, Reverb, Plate. Of course, the BFD, Heat Up 3 from Initial Audio. Of course, we got MDX. Oh wow. Polysynth, Trinity. We got all the Native Instruments. Yeah. Roly Equator 2 from buying the Seaboard block. Of course, wow. I'm not even counting the ones I didn't even install, or the ones that I like uninstalled from not using. So as I went through VSTs, then I started like feeling like a little bit unsatisfied, and then I would see all these videos of other new VSTs coming out, and everything, and then they had like the real expensive ones that like a lot of them like I didn't even really get to this day, but I was definitely watching videos on YouTube and seeing reviews and stuff like that of all the new VSTs coming out, and then I was like, man, I need to get that. And then I was thinking like with the VSTs that I already had, I was like, oh, these sound weak. I don't even like the way they sound, and so I would get more and more. But here and there, we still have like classic VSTs that sound well, and of course, like you could make a nice beat with any sound. It could be a wax sound or whatever. You can make it sound good, so it don't really matter. But what I learned is like the expenses of being addictive, because you're feeling like, oh man, it's got to be a better sound, or I need to get that because the reviews you saw and everything, so. But then there was another thing that was happening to where all these VSTs I would buy, and like they would rack up, and then I found myself had to get a book to keep all the passwords for the accounts. So I'm over here like, I would always forget the password, then I gotta put my email in to get the password renewed and reset. And then I'm like, then I started realizing what companies, all these companies are out, and basically I had to get like a whole bunch of accounts and passwords to remember. So I had to write them all down. And then you have the situations where now they started to lease VSTs, where it's like, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you this: I have bought the VU meter from Waves plugins, and 2 years later they changed the terms of agreement and made it a lease plugin to where, or a subscription to where now I don't even have what I bought anymore. So that, that then you have stuff like that happening where there you go. What I bought is now I gotta keep paying for it. And I ended up like just uninstalled it and just kept it moving, because the VU meter is, once I bought it in Studio One, it stayed there, and I remained the owner. So yeah, stuff like that, man. That is a little frustrating sometimes, but at the end of the day, yes, plugins can be addictive because you're thinking that it's always going to be a better sound, it's going to be a better instrument. So some people just say, yeah, bump that. Like I'm gonna use stock that comes in my DAW. That's it. But let me know in the comments how y'all feel about what I was talking about and what y'all said. And like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I'll see y'all.